Sure.
given the way you played the other
Absolutely.
night?
Can always make an argument for it. We've got some rhythm, momentum. I don't know, all the things you guys say, you know?
Do you
I
buy
don't
it?
think it, no, I don't. I don't. I don't buy it either way. I just think that stuff's, it's just so much is made of that. Both teams are going to be ready to play regardless. So this is not the time for excuses. Hey, everybody.
All right, thank you, Coach. We'll start with our first question. We'll come from the second row to your left, and then we'll go second row also.
Hey, Coach, thanks for taking the time. There's been so much talk.
Did I have a choice? Was it optional? Oh, I'm sorry.
No idea which side.
Okay.
There's been so much talk about this team and how together they are, especially on the defensive end, the rotations and stuff like that. I was just wondering, what is the personality and characteristics about this team that allows them and really propels them to be so together and so organized on the defense?
It's rooted in trust. Anytime you have a defense like that, they know, and they've talked about this, that sometimes I might do something that they weren't supposed to do, but their teammate covers for them, right? It's rooted in selflessness and trust.
Hey, Coach.
Hi, Terry.
You've talked in this playoffs about, winning games, 5-minute increments at a time, winning 5 minutes and then focusing on the next 5 minutes. Early in the season, you highlighted, I believe it was the first 5 minutes of the fourth quarter in the one game you lost to the Liberty here in this building in July as just a stretch that you weren't satisfied with, and the game kind of hinged on that. I'm curious if you've revisited that stretch of film either in preparation for this series or if that was something you revisited throughout the second half of the season and just how those 5 minutes made you a better team.
Yeah. Those types of situations where we don't find success certainly help us build and get better. Players will tell you those 5 minutes were, something that we sense, we feel when they start to happen. And we try not to, like in that game, there was a cascading effect to what we were doing, and we just could never find our footing again. We saw it in the Connecticut game, in the game 4, in the second half. Usually leads to it's missed shots, makeable shots, not getting stops at the other end, people playing off our misses, turning the ball over. That's typically the stretch that kind of does a team in, and so we try to limit those times that happens.
Coach in the front row all the way to the right.
Hey, sure. Without giving away the house secrets, going back to the defense, just a couple things that you guys absolutely must take care of tonight on that end.
Yeah, I think it's obvious, what their statistics are, what they're good at. Probably can't get too more involved in what our focus is, if you don't mind.
Coach, first row to your left.
Hello.
I can't.
Can you make any argument at all to there being an advantage to you guys playing in a rhythm of second time in 3 nights,
Sure.
given the way you played the other
Absolutely.
night?
Can always make an argument for it. We've got some rhythm, momentum. I don't know, all the things you guys say,
Do you
I
buy
don't
it?
think it, no, I don't. I don't. I don't buy it either way. I just think that stuff's, it's just so much is made of that. Both teams are going to be ready to play regardless. So this is not the time for excuses. I think you guys all look for that, kind of who's got the edge. And I understand all that, but that is not a real thing in the locker rooms.
Coach, first row center.
Hey, Cheryl. Just wanted to ask you about 2 players, one on your team and one on the Liberty. For the Liberty, Leonie Fibich inserted into the starting lineup for them in the postseason. What difference do the Liberty have when she's on the floor with that starting group? And then for Bridget Carlton as a difference maker, what does she have to do tonight against the Liberty? She's obviously had really good games against them so far this year.
Yeah. Well, the first question, though we haven't seen Fibich as a starter, so I can't answer that. We haven't seen her as a starter, but we have seen her play the bulk of the minutes against us. So it's not like it's a lineup that we haven't seen, that we're not aware of. We certainly recognize the impact that she has had, and there's a lot of stories that's being written about that. We'll feel it for the first time tonight with her as a starter. Carlton for us just has to be herself. I think she's getting really good opportunities. Both teams move the ball well. Both teams are going to try to keep the other team out of being able to move it around. And certainly they're going to be targeting Bridget. I don't think she flies under the radar at this point.
Coach in the third row all the way to your left.
Hi, Liz.
Hi, Cheryl. New York has incredible length. There's a lot of players with very long wingspans that can make it really hard to score. What do you have to do against a team with that type of defensive length?
Play underneath. Don't play over the top. That's what we try to coach. If you try to play over the top and we're a little smaller, that doesn't usually bode well for us. So being disciplined and fundamental.
Coach, last row to your left.
Yep. Coach, just want to ask you first, in your 14 years coaching, your 4 titles that you won with the Lynx, has this been the best ball movement as well as also screening team that you've had? And on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you rate your electric slide?
Well, we'll have one of our legends in the house tonight. Lindsay Whalen will be here. Hopefully she doesn't see this presser. We are head and shoulders above any team that I coached to a championship of the past in pick and roll reads. The game has evolved so much that's the space we're in. We're completely different than those teams. 3-point shooting wasn't the strength of those teams. And so spreading the floor, et cetera, this team excels at that far better than any of those championship teams. And so electric slide wise, I could take any of them. I could take any of them that are doing that.
Coach, next question, first row all the way to your right.
Hi,
There.
Cheryl. Good to see you. How is this moment being back in the finals for you? What would it mean to you to win this one and to cap off a year in which you've already gotten Olympic gold medal and do both? Thanks.
Yeah, try not to think about all those things. Matter of fact, we were at breakfast this morning and, we're so task oriented that I had to stop myself for a second as I was walking in to go meet the staff. And I was like, we're preparing for game 1 of the WNBA finals. We just don't think that way. We're just kind of on to that next team and we all shared that. And so it's kind of a strange thing that we do. The players, the excitement for them is there. Our preparation is really about trying to win the next game. So I don't think about those things. What would it mean, et cetera. It's not lost on me in terms of the year. Every once in a while, like I'm putting one foot in front of the other, kind of going, this has been a lot in the best of ways. And I just haven't had time to really let it all sink in. And it wouldn't mean as much to me as it would in terms of how I feel about them. I don't care about me. I really, really am excited for this group to prove all the prognosticators wrong once again.
We have time for just a couple more. Cheryl, last row center.
Hey, Rich,
Hey,
they let you out, man.
yeah,
I love it.
I made it. So you all have had success against this team this season. Is there anything you draw from those games, or do you kind of throw it out considering the raised stakes in this finals?
Well, I mean, we certainly can draw from them. I mean, you can't change it. We know what we did well. We understand how motivated they're going to be because we had that success, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we know what we do well, and we're going to try to continue to impose our will.
Coach, last question will come from. Do you have a question?
Nope. Good.
Coach,
Christine, nothing?
thank you.
Nothing? All right. Look at all these media here. This is fun. Count them up.
Good. Coach, last question all the way to your right in the fourth row.
How you doing, Coach?
Good. How are you?
Brittany Wallace, 9450. With every game presents a different challenge, and with challenges, adjustments have to be made.
Yeah.
Can you speak to how much making adjustments is planned by way of game strategy and how much is based on the fly and what you and the other coaches are seeing on the floor?
How much is based on what was the last thing? Based on the what?
Based on the fly.
On the fly,
and what
like
you're
on the
seeing.
fly.
Yep.
Yes to all of those things. In that we all have a game plan. All coaches have a game plan. Assistant coaches have an idea what things that they feel strongly about. You go with that until there's a cause for maybe subtle adjustments, major adjustments, et cetera. Certainly on the fly in a game, it happens all the time. And then at the end of game 1, we all jump in and go, okay, what adjustments need to happen? We try to anticipate adjustments on the other side. So that is the name of the game. And that is an ongoing evaluation. Yeah, thank you. Good, everybody?
Coach, thank you.
Yep, thanks.
To our media, we will